Hello and welcome back to the NFL DFS preview for Week 8 and the top matchups at running back and wide receiver 1. I'm your host, I'm Tyler, at FlatTyler83 on your DFS sites as well as Twitter. Now let's dig into this slate. Before we do, you got to come join us at LineStar. It is only $39.99 per month. You get all the access to all the tools for every sport we cover. NBA starts today. There's a great time to come join us and get involved. We also do have a 7-day free trial through the app stores if you have never used us before. Now, let's dig into good old Week 8. Cannot believe it. Week 8 is here. The season is absolutely flying by. We are almost halfway through. We have a 13-game slate on Draftkings and a 14-game slate on Fanduel. So just an absolute giant slate. It is nice that we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock games if you're on the East Coast, 1 on Pacific side. And then obviously Dallas and San Francisco is the nightcap, which that game in itself could be very interesting as it's a high total and a lot of injuries. So let's dig into the team defense tool, getting over, starting with RB1. Now, this week we have some real interesting spots to talk about. Somebody last week asked me if I could put my head over here. So, hey, I'm going to try it out, see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think with that. Now, going over our top 3, we got Kenneth Walker, James Conner, and Kareem Hunt. I'm going to just go ahead and throw Breece Hall in that mix also because I would love to talk about him with certain things that I'm seeing. Now, starting with Kenneth Walker, this dude has just a tremendous role with this team right now. Even if they're trailing, he's used a lot in the receiving game. Only 2 targets last week, but they were absolutely dominating. Total 16 touches, had 2 touchdowns. One of those was receiving. The guy has just been an absolute workhorse and beast. 7,800 for him, but I don't mind getting here. The Bills have allowed 121.5 rushing yards over the last 4 to the running back, and then you add in almost 55 receiving yards. They've been getting crushed by the pass. I think Kenneth Walker is in a very good spot. I'm all down for some Ken Walker this week. Next, we got James Conner versus Miami. Now, this game should actually be pretty fun. It does look like Tua will be back for Miami, so wheels up for that Miami offense to actually be able to score. And their defense isn't great, so Arizona could be a very fun target this week, starting with James Conner. Miami allowing 114 yards on the ground per game to the running back, along with 1.5 touchdowns per game. It's a great spot and a great bet for James Conner to get a good old touchdown this week. So Conner, another one we will like, and he always goes under owned. So that is very interesting to me. Next, we got Kareem Hunt. Can you believe this guy was just on the couch? 28 touches 2 weeks ago, 24 touches last week. Without all these wide receivers for the Chiefs, he is going to just continue to be used a ton. Now, the Raiders defense over the last 4 has looked a little bit better versus the rush, only allowing 88 yards, 0.8 touchdowns, almost 30 yards through the air. But if you look at the whole season, it's 107 yards a game, 30 through the air, and 0.9 touchdowns. Regardless, good chance of a touchdown, good chance of, around 80 to 100 yards. I like my chances for a guy that it's getting this much volume where they really do want to run first there in KC. Wild to see that difference of as an offense. But hey, Kareem Hunt is in another good spot versus the Raiders. And Breece Hall. I wanted to talk about Breece Hall because since the coaching changes, we have seen him be the workhorse we thought he would be again. 23 touches. 18 last week in a game they were trailing a ton, but he had 9 targets. He wasn't coming off the field. Breece Hall is back being an absolute stud at 7,900 in a great spot versus New England, who is 30th, allowing 123 rush yards over the last 9. But over the last 4, 162. They've just been getting crushed by the run. And even Bill Belichick talked some ish about them yesterday because the Patriots just cannot stop the run, and they were really good at it last year. So I think wheels up for Breece Hall. He's likely going to be a very high owned, but I love the spot for him. They're also allowing 1.5 touchdowns per game. Breece Hall is a great spot for next week. Now, getting over to wide receiver 1 to top the chart is Jalen McMillian for Tampa Bay versus the Falcons. Okay, Godwin, season-ending injury. Mike Evans, we all saw it, went out with a hamstring injury. Very well, McMillian could be your WR1, and he is in an absolutely great spot if that is the case. He's a rookie. He has had the most success as the RB or the WR3 in Tampa, but he's just too cheap. He's a value play on both sites. It was a Monday night game. Pricing was already out for Sunday. Jalen, if he's the wide receiver 1, is just too cheap. And all the wide receivers for Tampa Bay are going to be too cheap this week with a 48.5 game total. Very interested in Jalen. I do have to bring up the fact that Otten had like 10 targets yesterday and had 100 yards. So he also could be a very interesting spot. 10 targets, 8 for 100. He kind of could be the de facto number 1 pass catching option because of those 2 big guys are out. So nice little value play at the top of our WR1 rankings. Next, we got Michael Pittman versus Houston. Houston's been giving it up to the wide receivers. They haven't been great as far as a DVOA or a team defense adjusted metric goes. But I have a very, very hard time going to Michael Pittman with Anthony Richardson, sorry. My big issue is he just can't really throw the ball. Pittman's getting targets 5 last week, 5, 8, 9. He does have solid upside, but I just want him to be cheaper to really go there. My Richardson's big, plus when throwing the ball is getting deep, and Pittman's more of a possession guy. He doesn't get super deep, and those big plays generally go to Pierce or Mitchell. And if I'm going to play a Colts wide receiver, it would probably be one of them over a Pittman or Downs. I do like Downs. I like Pittman as, talents. Unfortunately, I just wish Flacco was there to really utilize these receivers. Anthony Richardson's a nice young talent, but right now, throwing the ball, he's just not really doing it. So I do struggle going to Pittman. Next, we got Tyreek Hill. He's back. He has emerged. Tua is going to be back this week, so 7,600 for Tyreek is just an absolute steal. He should almost be 2K more. It's what he was to start the season, and now they got Tua back and are in a great spot. Cardinals allowing 177.5 receiving yards to the wide receiver per game with 1.3 touchdowns. I love me some Tyreek Hill. And I definitely like that game for some game stacks this week. As we already saw, Connor was there. Tyreek is there. Waddle is going to absolutely be in consideration, as well as some Cardinals pass catchers. So this game could be one to target for sure. Definitely interested in that. And then we might as well go 4 deep over here on wide receiver 1, 2, because we got Jerry Jeudy versus Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens have just been crushed by wide receiver. You also have Jameis Winston probably starting for Cleveland. Another value option that I got to bring up, Cedric Tillman. He had 12 targets last week, played a ton. I think Tillman, with Cooper gone, could definitely be in line for a little bit of a breakout. Last year in camp and preseason, everybody loved him, but the wide receiver room was just a little bit full, so he never really got his chance. With Cooper out and, another year to grow, Tillman is taking over a little bit, and he's very interesting. Jerry Jeudy is also interesting, though. 5 targets last week. He is the de facto number one. We saw him pouting on the bench because he wasn't involved enough. But hey, Winston can chuck the ball. He can throw it. He is absolutely fine firing that thing in here. And there's not really a better spot than the Baltimore Ravens, who are allowing 182.8 receiving yards to the wide receiver and 1.8 touchdowns per game. Gotta love some Browns receivers this week. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, once again, in a great spot. Also got to bring up the fact that Jameson Williams is going to be out. He's getting suspended. So wide receiver 1, Amon-Ra. Then you got the 2-3 being Khalif Raymond and Tim Patrick. Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta probably are going to have their way. The only issue I have with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I brought this up on the DFS show and I think the prop show last week, is the Detroit Lions are absolutely fine with just running the ball down the opposing team's throat. And I think they're going to be able to do that versus the Titans. That is the one reason I'm a little concerned with using Amon-Ra. He is in an absolutely great spot. Once again, he's going to get his. But I have an issue with a possible ceiling for him. I just don't think it's going to be there. I think the Lions are going to just be able to control this so much that Amon-Ra is going to have a huge first half to really get us to a ceiling game. And it's just not that likely to do all that work in one half. Can it happen? Yes. Will it? We will see. That'll do it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you've been enjoying this new show. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us a ton. Also, if you have any pointers or you want any additional information, please drop a comment. Let me know, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Peace, guys. Good luck.